So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nobel, and today I'm speaking with Lindsay Michelle Braken on Galactic light language. Now, Lindsay was a former high fashion model who experienced a Kundalini awakening in 2020. She now consciously channels as a pure conduit of source and free schools of star children she and her husband Ben have been blessed to walk alongside with in this time. And she is here to birth a new way of being, to live as joy, and to embrace the beauty of all that is as heaven and earth. And her website is newworlddreaming.com. So, hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Now, we're talking today on Galactic light language. Can you say something about your old life before all of this kind of, galactic woo-woo started?
Like many of us, it's quite a stark difference. However, there were always the ribbons running through that only in hindsight I can kind of piece together. So before my Kundalini awakening in 2020, I lived in 10 countries, in part as a high fashion model. And part of the reason I traveled around so much was I didn't want to be recognized. I didn't want to be seen. So I would go and model in Turkey or China or Italy and know that no one would know what I was up to. So there was a big learning in that for me in being seen. And I think we all mask, we all project a persona that we would like to be perceived by. And a beautiful learning in the modeling was I could project, I could act, I could fake all day, but within my internal world was chaos.
Oh.
I very out of self. I did not feel I belonged. I suffered with a lot of pain, and yeah, like many of us, just didn't feel grounded within my own body and being. The Kundalini awakening, I shook violently for a month before it kind of settled down. And shortly thereafter, actually, light language was brought to me. I found out the word starseed, had never heard of it, and that's how I found you, Steve. So 4 years later to be speaking to you now, it's been quite a journey.
Oh, wonderful. What triggered your Kundalini? Was there something triggering it, or was it just spontaneous?
I was doing some body work for I had about 6 years or so of chronic nerve pain, full body. And so I was doing a lot of body work at the time, and I just started convulsing, and my body was, it's like it was rebalancing, it was shaking off the trauma, and then the pelvis would jerk side to side, rock quite violently. And yeah, so I would say the moment that I began to settle into myself and calm my nervous system, there it shot up. It was ready.
Wow. And when you first heard light language coming out of you, what was it like for you?
It felt like this familiarity that made me feel I needed to reject it, because I had never felt familiarity necessarily in the world at large. I always had to escape, and all of a sudden there was this this language flowing out that was so easy. I've always struggled with communicating what's in the inner world into a language that others can understand, whereas light language, I don't have to think, I don't have to piece things together and construct it. It flows. Blossoming is the best adjective I can give it at this time. There was a lot of resistance as far as speaking it around others, because then I would be seen. I would be seen and known as not perhaps the person I had projected out into the world. So there was some resistance, and a lot of throat clearing had to occur for that to be a reality. But it felt very natural.
I'm sure. And how did your family react to this new found channel?
Well, my father thinks I've joined a cult, and my husband's been alongside this entire journey from the Kundalini awakening through to now, and well before back when I was a model. So he's well versed in the constant evolution occurring in my life, and I can't say it surprised him, but he has said that he feels the light language more through the artistic expression, as in that painted, like as in this, so painted as opposed to the verbal. And my daughter thinks it's quite amusing. Sometimes she up and giggles. But my son, who's 2, was once channeling fairies by a waterfall quite far from him, nowhere near him. And I walked up to him and he started speaking in that same pitch, using the same gesticulations and the same type of sounds. And that's when I could really feel and acknowledge that knowledge sits in our field, and children pick up on it and can then carry it through as well. So.
Oh, beautiful. Now, this morning, we wasn't sure what was going to come through, but when you tuned in, it was the kind of galactic, wasn't it, that you were feeling?
Yeah.
Before I hand over to you, what were you feeling? Was it kind of many different threads, or?
Yeah, so the last few days I've been had quite a lot of neck pain, and so I've been tuning into the neck and seeing this basically a galactic disc is the way that it presents, and several stars will alight and kind of like me, it's my turn. So it feels there is an extraordinary amount of support that wishes to be channeled through for whoever will tune in at whatever time, and igniting those light encodings, light packages within each individual to be opened in within and attuned to. So we'll see how it comes through.
Okay, Lindsay, well, I'm going to pass it over to you and let's see what happens.
Korianar kurtu urutu irata kanariti inati ane anakaya anurutu oyakata ana arita enakita anuratu uru hianar kurtu oyane irashati nakianariti ana. Naritayannayatu Kuyanaratinayatu Kuyanaratinayatu yotu. Kirianati turi kiata. Gai atara aturutu koto to oti atara nakata ata are ere anako to ayanakita ana. Surrendering the trappings of the vocal cords, where we give power away by silencing what wishes to come through. There is a deep connection between the voice and the cosmic womb. There is a vibrant, joyful remembrance awakening within you to share who you are. As a bird sings in joy, so you too sing in joy. Kariata erata ena kayata aurutu ukutu yana shiata kaya. Eshekina atu okoyana erate ena kayata ena kati. Ruku yitu urtu ishiana kayata urtu. Tawe anaru tue anai ataya takiata. Eri anari kiata urtu uya niraka iata anutu natura I anakayata. Sheite anari kirata anari te. Eri anata inirata kia. Anoki anati anna. Onorite anarite akaya narite anar. There is a spring within the waters of you that is ever flowing, the living waters of eternal life. These waters cannot be controlled. They can be felt. They can be lived through you as you. You are the eternal spring. You are the eternal chalice. Anu kayata ena arite ena kayata artukutu ena ara shani ara kayata Toria narite kayata ete anotu irite akati atien arena arutu kieta rite narite igite tu kieta tu tieta tara tu urtia nadata arta ierta ki atu arena ierta kaita Shianari annaru turi annarta inata akkar. Teri te annari te annakutu. Dayana da kortu urshi anana katutu turi te akiana. Te annara turi te anakayata. Enirata ere te anakayata. Riana kayatu uri. Ariana, Riana kayata uriti eshi anakayata. Ria kayata uriti. Tiana ayana koyata. Anatora e ashayana ana tu anni anoriana. Iriti kayeta uti anniaka. Reti. Arotu. Ena. Ena kieta. The Divine Mother wishes for you to remember you are her child. The Divine does not make mistakes. Lastly, there is a blessing. Toro eneta, to enearata, no koro to erianariti, she anariti, anakiti ana, anturete ana, anukure anariti atiana, koyana, mateana.